From the 2nd century BCE all the way to the 18th century, the Silk Road laid its route across the globe, paving up the way for areas such as Delfshaven to flourish on the foundations of trade. Delfshaven remains one of the few areas that escaped the consequences of the Rotterdam bombing in the Second World War, standing as a historical reflection of Rotterdam's past. Its surrounding environment can be observed as a collective of fragmented islands, connected yet segregated by its dominant presence of water, infrastructure and people, creating in its essence an urban variant of an archipelago. Acknowledging this fragmentation as a quality is what brings us to the Western Archipelago. Striving to transition the site into a health and leisure node, it is important to observe the congested roads which influence the amount of air pollution around the area of the hospital and the infrastructural lanes. By restructuring the traffic infrastructure by placing the main road below ground and adding new public transport nodes, allows for the quality of air and with it the quality of life to improve. Additionally, this intervention creates a new public passage between the residential districts and the park, ultimately giving the road back to the people and allowing new streams of society to access the Western Archipelago. As the Western Archipelago stands anchored within the water, it is important to take potential floodings into account. These floods require interventions such as punctuated green spaces which enable the absorption of water. These spaces will be characterised by the definition of a green lane which connects the Hamlet single to the riverfront, where it will end with a new park and natural landscapes. The Western Archipelago currently stands prominently between the powerful business district in the east, also known as Bompiers, and the innovative startup business in the west. However, in the Western Archipelago, business opportunities are very limited, and job opportunities amongst its residents seem to be scarce, without perspective on improvements in the future. By directing and continuing the flows coming from Bompiers through the Western Archipelago, a new business boulevard will establish itself, bridging the city with its suburbs. The street of New Binnenweg currently sits disconnected between the cultural destinations of the city centre and Marconiplein. The disconnection currently defines the Western Archipelago as a passing place. However, by embracing the diverse nature of the Western Archipelago and continuing these cultural lanes through the site, allows for a connection to be made, which absorbs the cultural diversity and becomes an extension of the city centre. The Koolhaven shipping route currently presents difficulties for the cargo ships. This is defined by the turning points in the haven towards the lock. The city has previously addressed problems like this with the Delftse Ski by redirecting the route of the waterway. By acknowledging this as a precedent, the city could decide to redirect the route between Schiedam and Delfshaven. This can be achieved by redeveloping the existing green space to bridge the connection between Schiedam and the River Maas. Through implementing this strategy, the havens can be reimagined as a leisure core. This will be reinforced by the turnover market, which will grant the Western Archipelago an entree to the newest food technologies. In addition, the remaining havens can be transformed into recreational areas. This will be regulated through the Rijkswaterstaat, an important organisation managing the water infrastructure. Ultimately, the city of Rotterdam aims to create 56,000 more residential units by 2030. In response, the strategy proposes additional residential mixed-use buildings along the waterfront and economic strip. Located on the economic strip are 4 new projects. The first is a new data centre which aims to attract e-businesses and provide a district heating system based on energy reuse. The digital business centre becomes the new social and economic heart by bridging businesses with people through the digitalisation of workspaces. Additionally, a connection will be established towards the gateway of Delfshaven. The skyscraper integrates and distributes the flow of people to promote social interaction. Located in Delfshaven is the new South Korean embassy. The project aims to accelerate various exchanges with other countries. The cultural strip proposes 2 new projects. The first is the new Oud Western Housing Cooperative, which aims to reinvent the typical Dutch housing block. The second project is the new Binnenweg Forum, which acts as an anchor point to the cultural strip by becoming a new performance and interaction centre. Through the strategic spatial interventions along the strips and waterfront, we propose to enrich and revive the Western Archipelago's status within the city of Rotterdam. What remains now is to activate the next stage of the city,